In the vastness of space, where silence speaks louder than thunder, the aspirations of a rising India reach for the stars. A new chapter of India's space odyssey is being written, guided by the dreams of a nation that looks to the future with unwavering hope. India's very own Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, piloting the AX-4 mission, has reached the International Space Station. Namaskar and welcome to Sansad TV. I'm Rajiv Kumar Singh. Axiom 4 is not simply a mission to the International Space Station. It is a mission linked to India's future in space. Let me take you through mission AKASH Ganga in this episode of History Behind Headlines. After enduring a series of delays and technical setbacks, the much-anticipated Axiom 4 mission carrying India's Gaganyatri Shubhanshu Shukla, the second Indian to venture into space, finally took flight from Launch Complex 39A at the Kennedy Space Center, Florida on 25th of June. With the liquid oxygen leakage resolved and clear skies above, the stage was set for an event that was not just scientific but deeply symbolic for India. As the rocket roared to life, millions across India watched with bated breath, united in hope, pride and awe for a country still finding its feet in manned space flight. This was more than just a mission. It was India's giant leap into a new space era. Moments after reaching orbit, Shubhanshu Shukla posted his simple but powerful message.
नमस्कार मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, वॉट ए राइड। 41 साल बाद हम वापस अंतरिक्ष में पहुंच गए हैं और कमाल की राइड थी। इस समय हम 7.5 किलोमीटर प्रति सेकंड की रफ्तार से पृथ्वी के चारों तरफ घूम रहे हैं और मेरे कंधे पे मेरे साथ मेरा तिरंगा है जो मुझे बता रहा है कि नहीं हूँ, मैं आप सबके साथ हूँ। ये मेरी इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन तक की जर्नी की शुरुआत नहीं है, ये भारत के ह्यूमन स्पेस प्रोग्राम की शुरुआत है और मैं चाहता हूं कि आप सभी देशवासी इस यात्रा का हिस्सा बने। आपका भी सीना दिल से चौड़ा होना चाहिए, आप भी उतना ही एक्साइटमेंट दिखाइए। आइए हम सब मिलकर भारत के इस ह्यूमन स्पेस प्रोग्राम की जर्नी की शुरुआत करें। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
Back home, Shukla's parents had eyes fixed, hearts full. The son had just made history. The emotional weight of the moment was shared by families across India. President Murmu said the whole nation is excited and proud of Shukla's space expedition. Prime Minister Modi followed with a heartfelt message. He welcomed the successful launch of the space mission carrying astronauts from India, Hungary, Poland and the US. Wishing the crew a successful mission, the Prime Minister mentioned that Group Captain Shukla carried with him the wishes, hopes and aspirations of 1.4 billion Indians. On Thursday, 26th of June, after traveling in space for close to 28 hours, history was made with the Axiom 4 mission's docking with the International Space Station. Shubhanshu Shukla became the first Indian to reach the International Space Station. As the hatch opened, the world watched a warm, emotional exchange. Shukla and his crewmates embracing the astronauts already aboard the ISS. These hugs transcended borders and flags, a reminder of the shared human quest to explore the unknown. For India, it wasn't just Shukla entering the ISS. It was a nation stepping confidently onto the world stage of human space flight. The mission sent a message. India is no longer a mere participant. It is a serious contender in the global space frontier.
It's very important for India to be in this new human spaceflight club. It's very different from what was in the Apollo days. So the cost of flight has gone down. So because of Falcon 9, the cost has gone down maybe by 95% because they're reusing the vehicles. So there is a bunch of different developments. And right now, for example, the NASA Artemis program, the Chinese program, everybody is thinking of going to space and staying there. For example, even private companies like Jeff Bezos' company is trying to set up a base on the moon. In this context, it's very important that India is also engaged in human space flight. And this is where Axiom 4 comes into the picture. It's very important that this experience is being had. Having said that, this is just one part of human spaceflight, which is training and astronaut experience. The other part would be developing the hardware, which building the rocket, building the systems there, building the launch vehicles there, which is where Gaganyaan comes into the picture. So yes, this is the grand first step, and which I think India brings India into that international club of human spaceflight countries of the future.
The AX4 mission by Axiom Space is also referred to as the AKASH Ganga Mission. It is in partnership with Elon Musk's SpaceX and NASA. The flight used SpaceX Falcon 9 Block 5 rocket to place Crew Dragon C213 into low Earth orbit. This is the maiden flight of the C213 spacecraft, the fifth and final Crew Dragon to be built. Mission Akash Ganga was born out of the India-US joint statement during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's state visit to the United States in June 2023. The agreement envisioned a collaborative effort between ISRO and NASA to send an Indian astronaut to the International Space Station, marking a new chapter in Indo-US space cooperation. The AX4 mission carries with it the hopes of humanity, of bridging divides and pushing the boundaries of what is possible, one orbit at a time. Among the crew of 4 is India's very own Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla.
Namaste. I am Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla and I am the mission pilot for Axiom 4 mission.
Born in Lucknow, raised with the dreams that reached beyond the skies, Group Captain Shukla was commissioned into the Indian Air Force in 2006. In nearly 2 decades of service, Shukla flew aircrafts that defined Indian aviation might. Su-30 MKIs, MiG-21s, Jaguars and more. Clocking over 2,000 flight hours, his discipline, skill and sharp intellect made him a natural candidate for India's ambitious space program, Gaganyaan.
I would say that I have been extremely fortunate and extremely lucky to have gotten the opportunities to first fly all my life, which was a dream job for me, and then have the opportunity to apply to astronaut corps, and now consequently be here.
Flying was my dream, becoming an astronaut my destiny. Powerful words. Only a few can claim to have lived such a dream as Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla. But those dreams are accompanied by the wishes and prayers of over 1 billion Indians. Group Captain Shukla is not alone on that mission. It features 4 astronauts from 4 different countries. Let us know a bit more about them.
Mission Akash Ganga or AX4 is led by veteran NASA astronaut Peggy Whitson. Alongside her are Slavoj Uznansky of Poland, Tibor Kapu of Hungary, and of course India's Shubhanshu Shukla.
For me, having him as my pilot in the Dragon capsule is great. He already has that operational savvy. He's just wicked smart when it comes to spacecraft technologies.
From ground rehearsals to final suit-up drills, the AX4 crew trained intensively. Their destination, the International Space Station, where science meets collaboration in low Earth orbit.
India's tryst with the cosmos is a saga that spans millennia, reaching far beyond the modern era of rocketry and satellites. The ancient Indian civilization nurtured a profound tradition of astronomy, marked by meticulous observations of celestial phenomena and the development of remarkably sophisticated systems. With a glorious past and a future brimming with promise, India stands poised to prove that for her, the sky is not the limit, just the beginning.
Scholars like Aryabhat during the 5th century CE proposed groundbreaking concepts such as the Earth's rotation on its axis and a heliocentric model, centuries before similar ideas gained traction in the West. Texts like the Vedanga Jyotish, dating back to around 1400 to 1200 BCE, detail astronomical calculations for timekeeping and ritual, showcasing a deep understanding of planetary movements and stellar positions, often without the aid of advanced instruments. This legacy of keen observation and mathematical prowess laid a profound foundation for India's enduring fascination with the skies. Fast forward to the modern age, and India's space journey has transformed from philosophical inquiry to tangible achievement, spearheaded by the Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, founded in 1969. The role of Dr. Vikram Sarabhai in the establishment of ISRO needs to be highlighted here. Beginning with the launch of its first satellite, Aryabhatta, in 1975, ISRO has steadily grown into a global space power, renowned for its cost-effective and reliable missions. ISRO's landmark achievements include the Mars Orbiter mission, Mangalyaan, making India the first nation to reach Mars's orbit on its maiden attempt, and the Chandrayaan lunar missions, culminating in Chandrayaan 3's historic soft landing near the moon's south pole. With ambitious future endeavors like the Gaganyaan human spaceflight program and Aditya L1 to study the sun, India continues to push the boundaries of space exploration, blending ancient wisdom with cutting-edge technology to unlock the universe's secrets. When it comes to India's venturing into space, who can forget Rakesh Sharma's historic journey over 4 decades ago? On April 3, 1984, Wing Commander Sharma lifted off aboard the Soyuz T-11 spacecraft from the Baikonur Cosmodrome, then part of the Soviet Union, now in Kazakhstan. His mission marked a pivotal milestone in Indo-Soviet cooperation and made him the first Indian to travel to space, a moment of immense national pride. For every Indian who witnessed that era, one memory remains etched in collective consciousness. During a live interaction, then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi asked Sharma how India looked from the space. His iconic reply echoed across the nation, "Sare jahan se acha."
ऊपर से भारत कैसा दिखता है आपको?
मैं बगैर किसी झिझक के कह सकता हूँ कि सारे जहां से अच्छा.
With those 4 words, he didn't just describe a view, he captured the soul of a nation.
Today, Rakesh Sharma is an integral part of our development program of the Gaganyaan. He participates in our reviews, he contributes in many ways in terms of the Gaganyaan design and development. So we need actually many more astronauts in India who will be able to help us in terms of engineering the systems, because the human to machine interface is a very complex system. And the input for this comes from not from engineers and scientists alone, but also from the people who actually flew to space, and their experience counts.
Then came Kalpana Chawla, the first woman of Indian origin in space,
whose legacy continues to inspire despite the tragic end to her journey. A symbol of determination and excellence, Chawla became a global icon when she flew aboard Space Shuttle Columbia. Her second mission in 2003 ended in disaster. But her courage and achievements remain etched in the hearts of millions. Following her, Sunita Williams, a NASA astronaut of Gujarati heritage, emerged as another trailblazer. Over the course of her career, she went to space on multiple missions. In her most recent voyage aboard Boeing's Starliner, intended to last just 8 days, Williams spent 286 days in orbit after unforeseen technical issues delayed her return. Through it all, she remained calm, committed and courageous, embodying the true spirit of space exploration.
And splashdown, Crew 9 back on Earth.
Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla's Space Odyssey is planned for 2 weeks.
The first Indian astronaut, Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma, traveled to space in 1984. I grew up reading about him in textbooks and listening to his stories from space. I was deeply, deeply impressed by him. This journey that I'm on, it has been a long one for me. And it started out somewhere. I didn't know that this is the path it is going to finally take.
While Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla has embarked on his journey aboard a commercial international mission, India is preparing for its own historic liftoff with the much-awaited Gaganyaan Mission. Led by ISRO, Gaganyaan marks India's first fully indigenous human space flight program. It is more than just a mission. It is a symbol of a nation coming into its own as a formidable space power.
The main part is to have Gaganyaan working. So you have to understand robotic and human spaceflight are completely different games. One is relatively low cost, and there has to be a huge level of redundancy if you're flying humans in space. So you need all these support systems, the electrical system, the power system, and the astronauts have to maintain their body temperature and the pressure in the vehicle. So it's enormously complex. And what do you do if one of the systems fail? And that is where redundancy comes into the picture. So I think that part is actually going to be very big. I mean, that is actually what building your own capability is. Here, you're actually making a ride on another vehicle which belongs to SpaceX, but developing the capability of having your own vehicle to space, that is perhaps the harder part.
The project aims to send Indian astronauts, Vyomanauts or Gaganyatris into low Earth orbit aboard an Indian-made spacecraft launched by an Indian rocket from Indian soil. This ambitious endeavor, when achieved, will be a giant leap in India's space journey. Years of scientific research, countless hours of engineering precision, and the dreams of over 1 billion citizens are converging on this one moment. Slated for launch in the near future, Gaganyaan will not only demonstrate India's capability in human spaceflight technology, but will also place it in an elite club of nations, the United States, Russia and China, who have mastered manned space missions.
Axiom 4 mission is very important for India, and it comes at a very opportune time. On 15th August 2018, Honorable Prime Minister of India announced that a son or daughter of the country would fly to space soon. And as a result, Mission Gaganyaan was born. Currently, a lot of people are working very hard to make that dream a reality. I am confident that the lessons learned during Axiom 4 mission are going to prove invaluable for our journey back home.
Gaganyaan will carry the tricolor beyond Earth, powered by
homegrown science, courage and vision. It will not just be a mission, it is the beginning of a new era in Indian space exploration. By 2035, ISRO envisions placing India firmly among the global elite of spacefaring nations with its very own space station. This ambitious project will mark a transformative leap in India's space journey, going beyond Earth's orbit to establish a permanent, independent human presence in space. Unlike earlier collaborations aboard the International Space Station, India's space station will be wholly indigenous, designed, built, launched and operated by Indian scientists and astronauts. It will orbit the Earth at an altitude of approximately 400 kilometers, serving as a platform for long-duration scientific experiments, advanced space medicine, microgravity research, and possibly even deep space mission training. The station will be built on the technological foundation laid by the Gaganyaan Mission. The experience of launching, sustaining, and safely returning astronauts from space will pave the way for constructing modular space habitats, docking systems, and life support infrastructure. A space station isn't just a structure in orbit, it is a symbol of sovereignty, innovation, and strategic depth. It allows a nation to observe, research, and prepare for deeper missions, whether to the moon, Mars, or beyond. For India, this milestone will not only inspire a generation of scientists and explorers, but also signal to the world that its aspirations are not limited by gravity. From Aryabhat to Chandrayaan, from Gaganyaan to the Indian Space Station, this is India's unfolding celestial saga.
I think globally the cooperative way of human spaceflight is something well established, because every nation wants to help each other in terms of human spaceflight. And this area, I think, spacefaring nations are very, very clear. I think they want to help each other to really prepare all nations to finally fly humans to space. In that context, I think Russians have been helping in the past. The US has now come forward to have a collaborative and commercial process of flying Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla to space. I think all of this will really help us in really preparing future human spaceflight program in a big manner.
It was a contest not just of rockets, but of ideologies. On one side stood the Soviet Union, a communist giant determined to prove its technological supremacy. On the other, the United States, the capitalist powerhouse striving to demonstrate its leadership in science, innovation, and freedom. The world watched in awe and tension as these superpowers turned the cosmos into their newest battleground. In 1961, the USSR struck first. Yuri Gagarin, a young cosmonaut from humble beginnings, became the first human to journey into outer space, orbiting the Earth aboard Vostok 1. His historic flight stunned the world and announced the Soviet Union's arrival as a spacefaring nation. But the Americans were not far behind. Fueled by President John F. Kennedy's bold promise to land a man on the moon before the decade's end, NASA accelerated its efforts. In 1969, the world held its breath as Neil Armstrong stepped onto the lunar surface, uttering the immortal words, "That is one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind."
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
But the race evolved into a relay. Now countries like India, Japan, the UAE, and private players run with the torch of exploration. Axiom 4 mission marks a new era in Indian space exploration, bridging symbolic milestones with practical utility. Unlike Rakesh Sharma's 1984 space flight, India today has the infrastructure and future roadmaps in place, especially Gaganyaan.
When Rakesh Sharma went to space, there was no Gaganyaan program in India. Beyond Rakesh Sharma, what is a program? There was no definition at that point in time, 41 years back. So it was just an event in the history of the space program. Yes, we had an Indian who went to space using a Russian craft, and he came back. Of course, it's a celebration for all of us for one of an Indian going to space for the first time. But then its outcome of that travel translating into something that is tangible for the country was not very visible at that point in time, because we were still grappling with the issues of developing space program for ourselves. But today, when we send someone up there, it is a different ball game. See, we have a program called Gaganyaan currently going on, and we have selected these astronauts for specifically that program, Gaganyaan, and they are waiting for Gaganyaan to become a reality. So while we send someone during this course of the period, the questions are many, and what the purpose of sending it becomes more relevant.
Shukla's flight is integrated into ISRO's goals, offering critical operational insights for upcoming missions. His real-time experiences will provide key safety inputs and risk reduction strategies for Gaganyaan. ISRO is said to have designed 10 custom space experiments, including those on muscle degradation, crop growth, and tardigrades. Microgravity allows precise studies of human health and biology, difficult to conduct on Earth. These experiments directly benefit India's scientific community, advancing health, food, and tech domains. Another significant point is Group Captain Shukla's exposure to ISS systems, aiding ISRO's Future Space Station project. In space, everything changes: perspective, gravity, even silence. For Shukla, it is more than engineering. It is spiritual. On the fourth day of his mission, Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla about his experiences in space.
अच्छा, शुभ अंतरिक्ष की विशालता देखकर सबसे पहला विचार क्या आया आपको?
पृथ्वी को बाहर से देख के जो पहला ख्याल और पहला जो थॉट मन में आया वो ये था कि पृथ्वी बिल्कुल एक दिखती है। भारत सच में बहुत भव्य दिखता है, बहुत बड़ा दिखता है, जितना हम मैप पे देखते हैं उससे कहीं ज्यादा बड़ा। और जो वननेस की फीलिंग है, पृथ्वी की वननेस की फीलिंग है, जो हमारा भी मोटो है कि अनेकता में एकता, वो बिल्कुल उसका महत्व ऐसा समझ में आता है बाहर से देखने में कि लगता है कि कोई बॉर्डर एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करता, कोई राज्य नहीं एग्जिस्ट करता, कंट्रीज नहीं एग्जिस्ट करती। फाइनली हम सब ह्यूमैनिटी का पार्ट है और अर्थ हमारा एक घर है और हम सब के सब उसके सिटीजन्स हैं।
From the streets of Lucknow to the stars, Shubhanshu Shukla represents what India's future could be, in labs, in classrooms, in dreams. As the Gaganyaan mission looms and ISRO eyes Mars and Venus, India is writing its space story not in ink but in stardust. As for the AX4 or the AKASH Ganga mission, the river of skies flows into the hopes of 1 billion. That is all we have in this program. Thanks for watching.